Okay. Welcome, everyone. I hope all is well. I hope all is well. Siri is acting funky. All right, there we go. I hope all is well, y'all. Happy Monday, happy Monday, happy Monday. I'm excited to discuss our topic for tonight, which was the last of what we voted on, I want to say 2 weeks ago, which was setting a motivating environment, which I'm excited to talk through because there's a lot of things that I found just in my own research and thinking about setting motivating environments and why it's important and why we should think about it. But even just implementing some things for myself. So we are learning collectively, which is good, always good. It always hits the best to other people when it hits you very well when you're trying to research and study for it. So I'm excited to talk through this topic today. If this is your first time, my name is Debbie. I'm a certified mindfulness coach. Our channel is all things mental health and self-care. And every week we talk about different mental health topics that's voted on a weekly basis. And I post meditations on the channel on a weekly basis as well. So if you have seen any of the meditations, that is my voice that you hear. But otherwise, the lives are really just things that I kind of put together, voted on, and then I do some research and come back with some information and hopefully some tips and some good nuggets for you to take away. So again, I hope this is helpful today. I hope this brings some insight. Definitely talk back to me. Let me know where you're watching from and how you're feeling today. I hope that this is helpful. And we are live on both Instagram and YouTube right now. So again, I hope this shed some light and brings some insight on how to set a motivating environment. Krishima, welcome in. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate you. Make sure to like the live. Make sure to make sure to comment, make sure to talk back to me, okay? Awesome. So, setting a motivating environment. Why is it important? Let's start there, right? Why is even thinking about our environment and where we spend our time important? It makes it easier to stay consistent, to stay positive, and focused on turning motivation into a lifestyle instead of it being a fleeting feeling. Sometimes when we think about motivation, we think about I feel motivated, right? If we feel it, we feel it. If we don't, we don't. And we allow that to dictate how we show up in the world, how we show up in at work, how we show up in our relationships, how we show up in parenting. We allow that to be a fleeting feeling versus it being more than just that. It being something that we choose, something that we cultivate, and something that we manage. Okay, so thinking about motivation passing the feeling of being motivated and thinking about how you can cultivate it and add it into your daily life so that way you consistently have a feeling of motivation. Okay, so let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. Oh, and then also too, motivation shouldn't just be a feeling, but a lifestyle. A lifestyle, and once you look at it holistically, negative cycles, patterns, and habits can change or alter. Right. So that's why it's important in our daily lives. Happy Monday. Hey, Dr. Quinn. Thanks for coming in. So that's why it's important, right? So how do we create motivating environments in our daily lives? I want to say 6 tips that I want you to take away. So I'll share those. And then I would say we have about 6 affirmations that you can take away from the conversation as well. So to start, number 1, know where you spend your time. Okay? Know where you spend your time. All right? Where you spend your time shapes who you become. Choosing spaces, people, and moments that lift you and fuel your growth is crucial and important. Okay? So, understanding that one, you have the choice, mostly you have the choice of how and where you're spending your time, right? So how much time are you spending on social media? How much time are you spending at work? How much time are you spending with friends and family? How much time are you spending alone? How much time are you spending with your partner? What areas are excessive and what areas are fruitful? So, really taking the time to understand how you're spending your time and even journaling that. So that way you have a little bit more insight as to, wow, I am spending a lot of time, a lot more time at work than I probably should. Or, yeah, I am spending a lot of time on social media. Or, yeah, I am spending a lot of time with my friends when I should be focusing a little bit more time on my goals. So, thinking that through, doing some journaling just to kind of pinpoint it, and even if you have to map it out on how you're spending your time. But that's the first step. Understand how you're spending your time, and then that way you'll be able to find ways to cultivate motivation. You may find that you're spending your time excessively in a certain area versus the other, which can be could be a reason as to why you are feeling unmotivated. Okay, so that's the first one. Number two, what you see and what you hear is critical. Okay, so what you see and what you hear is critical when you're thinking about setting a motivating environment. So first, declutter your space. I tell my kids all the time, if your space is cluttered, your mind is cluttered, right? It's going to be very difficult for you to think clearly, be creative, and really process what you need to process mentally when your space is cluttered. So decluttering your space, making your house a home. Is your home decorated? Is it comfortable? Do you like being at home? Right? And if not, why? And exploring that again, whether that be through journaling, through therapy, but figuring out your physical space. If you're working at home, what does your workspace look like? If you actually are going into work, what does your workspace look like, right? Really thinking about your physical space. Is it cluttered? Is it organized? When you see that space, what does that do to you internally? So really thinking about your physical space and the physical environments that you're in. Monitoring what you watch, what you're taking in through the eye gate. And if you are taking in a lot of negativity, really, really think about what you're watching, why you're watching the things that you're watching, and how it's showing up in your mental space. Let me make sure. Trying to find my comments. I thought I saw a comment come in, but I can't. For some reason, my comments is jacked up. Why am I doing this? I explained it at the top of the live, but we're talking through how to set a motivating environment. If you missed at the top, my name is Debbie. I'm a certified mindfulness coach. We discuss all things mental health on our channel. This is our topic for today. Okay, so what you see is what you see and what you hear are critical. Next thing is definitely what you're listening to. Thinking about what you're listening to, the music, if you're listening to podcasts, even if it's, and this is kind of for the next section, but even the people that you're speaking to, the people that you talk to, what are they saying, right? Is it filled with negativity? Is it positive? Is it inspirational? Is it motivating? So taking into consideration what you're watching, taking into consideration what you're listening to, being careful about what you say, and really thinking about what others say. What are you hearing on a day in and day out, right? Are you hearing people complain, right? Complaining can be something that you may think that is minute, but if you're hearing that day in and day out, it can put you in a cycle or a mental space of complaint where we're only seeing the negative, we're only seeing what's wrong. If you're around pessimistic people, that are continuously finding the bad in things. So really thinking through what you're listening to, what you're watching, who you're surrounding yourself with, what they're saying and what you are saying, because what you speak and what you put into the atmosphere as well can be definitely a part of what you're hearing, right? You're saying it, but you're also hearing yourself say it, and then that creates repetition in your mind over and over and over again. And if it's always negative, then that may be why you're unmotivated or you're consistently feeling unmotivated. Okay, so that was number 2. What you see and what you hear are critical. Number 3, be mindful of what your brain enjoys. Be mindful of what your brain enjoys. So you may not realize, but our brains tell us what it likes, what it enjoys, what's inspiring us, what's motivating us. So you want to take time to notice exactly what your brain enjoys on a day in and day out. Notice energy and emotion shifts when certain things happen or when you're in certain environments. What parts of the day energize you and what parts of the day drain you, right? So notice energy and emotion shifts. Notice what brings you curiosity. Notice what brings you curiosity. What are some things that you're like, well, that's interesting. I want to know more about it. What prompts you to have that response throughout the day? Notice what angers you, or notice your pet peeves, right? And again, this can be surrounding people, surrounding environments, but take notice of what you're actually picking up on a day-to-day basis. By any means, you can go ahead and journal these things if it makes it easier, or just take notice as these things happen. But notice these things and take into consideration these things when thinking about what your brain likes and what your brain doesn't like. Notice repetition. If your brain keeps bringing you back to a certain thing, whether it be a certain environment, a certain situation that is enjoyable, that is pleasurable, that is inspirational, or is the total opposite, take notice of those things when they are showing up, where they are showing up, so that way you have a good understanding as to what your brain enjoys and what it doesn't enjoy. Why do we need to know this, right? You're probably like, why would I need to even sit and think through this? Motivation is tied to enjoyment, right? Motivation is tied to what it desires, right? So this helps you to pinpoint the bright side in situations. So if you are in a situation and you're like, okay, I really don't want to necessarily do this, but I do enjoy this aspect of it, that can help with your motivation within that situation. Because sometimes we may have to do things that we don't want to do in order to get to the places that we want to get to. So these are things that you can pull on. This is a way to manage your energy when you know what your brain needs, which gives you the blueprint to building a motivating environment, okay? This is how you're going to begin to build an environment depending on where you are, okay? This is the blueprint. So for example, if your brain, which a lot of our brains enjoy natural light, right? Maybe that's the blueprint for you to now start maybe sitting closer to the window if you're working from home, or changing your desk at work to something's closer to the windows, or something along those lines. You may also find that you enjoy music. So now maybe building an instrumental playlist that you use specifically for work when you're doing those mundane tasks that you don't like doing, right? You may love vanilla scents, so you get a diffuser and have that on your desk now. So that way, when you get into work, you can put that on, and now you have something that your brain, in thinking about your senses, and you're smelling that scent, that may give you some motivation to move forward and do things that you may not want to do, but know that you have to do it in order to get to where you're going. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Understanding and being mindful of what your brain enjoys is definitely a great blueprint into building an environment that is satisfying, that's motivating, that's inspiring. Okay, so number 4, make sure I have this here. Number 4, build routines that are restoring and supportive. Build routines that are restoring and supportive. Okay? So, at minimum, you want to have a morning and evening routine. And I know that people hate this conversation. I used to be people. When it comes to having a morning and evening routine, but it is critical and it is crucial to trying to sustain a not just motivation, but sustaining energy, right? Your morning and evening routine does not have to be long. It could be 10 minutes, it can be 15 minutes, it can be go up to 2-3 hours. It doesn't matter how long it is. That would be based off of what's most important to you and how many things that you want to include in your routine. But having a routine and setting a routine for the beginning of your day and the end of your day is so helpful when it comes to thinking about remaining motivated. You know how when we were younger, we were always put on routines as children, but that never really goes away. We still need as adults a routine to keep us consistent and to keep us at a space that is motivating and that is habit forming. That's positive reinforcement. So build routines that are restoring and supportive. At minimum, you may want to think about maybe a 10, maybe even a 5, 10, 15-minute routine to start, and then working your way up. Be realistic with your routine. So when thinking about what that routine is going to look like, don't take it from other people. Think about what you need and then finding ways to include that into your routine. Okay. I know sometimes we may get a lot of ideas and then we're like, okay, I want to do this, and this, and then we get overzealous and try a bunch of things, get frustrated, and stop. So try to really think about things that are a part of your routine that are going to be helpful, that's restorative, that gives you a sense of productivity, but on the side of resting, right? So whether it be you have your face regimen, or you have, you read a little bit before bed, or you pray, or you meditate, like finding ways that are going to be restorative to you, okay? The next part, some of y'all probably not gonna like, but I'm gonna say it anyway, and I kind of low-key don't like it either, but minimizing blue light before bed and in the morning is crucial, okay? Now, I know that I'm not the greatest at this. I have to get better at this, but blue light will block melatonin. So when it comes to you trying to go to sleep, if you have blue light, and I would say within an hour before bed, or within an hour of waking up, it can change your energy levels to where, especially when you're going to bed, if you're trying to go to bed and you have blue light in your face, it's going to block that melatonin to the point where your body is tired, but you for some reason feel like you can't go to sleep because of the fact that you have this blue light in your face and in your eyes. So when thinking about your night routine and your morning routine, because you also don't want to like wake up to blue light either, but when you're thinking about specifically your evening routine, think about non-computer, iPad, phone things that you can do to help settle your brain and to get you to sleep and to get you into that routine of going to bed at a certain time. Okay, so you may not want to hear that because I know we all love to scroll right before bed, but it definitely does block your melatonin, which is why people try to replenish with taking melatonin before bed, and it's kind of a never-ending cycle. Okay, so build routines that are restoring and supportive. Number 5, honor your boundaries and limitations. Honor your boundaries and limitations, okay? So don't overcommit yourself. A lot of times we are lacking motivation because we're burned out. and we've overcommitted ourselves to certain situations, certain people, and we may think, oh, well, it's a short period of time, so I can do it for this period of time, and then you come back and you're like, okay, well, maybe it's a little bit longer than I thought it would be. Try your best not to overcommit yourself, okay? Listen to your body's signals. Rest when needed, move when you feel stagnant, okay? Listen to your body. Your body is an indicator of what's happening mentally. And if your body is breaking down, if your body isn't feeling right, if you're consistently getting sick over and over and over again, that may be an indicator of you need rest. You need to pull back. You may be overcommitted. So think about ways that your body speaks to you and gives you signals of when rest is needed. Okay. And then lastly, in number 5, nourish yourself. Okay. Sometimes we forget to eat. Sometimes we're not hydrated. We're not drinking enough water. We're not taking our supplements. We're not eating at the right times during the day based off of our dietary needs. I know there's times where I forget to eat. I'm just so fixated on the stuff that I have to get done, and then I wake up and look up, and then I'm like, oh crap, I didn't eat today. So nourish yourself. Keep healthy snacks, around you. Hydrate. Keep water around you, and build your breaks into your day. Okay. There's plenty of times where I have built in or added breaks to my calendar, so that way I ensure that I take a break. So make sure to however it works for you, but make sure to take breaks, because at the end of the day, you don't want to again end up at burnout, and that's how we end up with being unmotivated and burnt out and even depressed and sad and frustrated with the life that we're living. Okay, so that was number 5, honor your boundaries and limitations. And then number 6, which is the last one before affirmations, just a second here, my voice is like kind of going in and out, so bear with me, y'all. Find ways to consistently stay inspired. Find ways to consistently stay inspired. How do we do that? Remove distractions, okay? Many times we are unmotivated because we are distracted by things that just don't matter, okay? What are you being distracted by? What is standing in the way of you getting done the things that you need to get done, which then drains your energy, drains your motivation to the point where, again, you're burned out. Okay, so remove distractions, so that way you don't end up in that unmotivated state. Actively seek inspiration by remaining present. So notice beauty, celebrate progress, and choose experiences that are fulfilling, that are allow you to be proactive, that allows you to grow, that gives you a sense of being, right? You have the ability and the opportunity to choose experiences that are best suited for you. And sometimes we stay in these unmotivated states because we choose environments that are not good for us, that are not at our best, have our best interest, and that are distractions. So choose your experiences wisely. Choose where you stay. Choose where you remain. Choose where you spend your time. Don't allow what you think you should do or what others think you should do make you choose to be in those experiences. Really take the time to make that choice based off of what is motivating, what is inspiring, what is positive. Sometimes we find ourselves in situations that we don't want to be in, that we never wanted to be in, but we allowed somebody else to talk us into it, okay? Or we talked ourselves into it based off of the needs of other people, okay? So find ways to consistently stay inspired by choosing your experiences. And then lastly here, fill your days with spaces, people, routines, and reminders that spark your energy and keep you inspired, curious, and forever learning. I will say that again. Fill your days with spaces, people, routines, and reminders that spark your energy and keep you inspired, inspired, curious, and forever learning. Okay, being forever learning and always learning new things and being open to learning new things is a quick way to be inspired. If you find something that you're passionate about, if you see something that just is interesting and you're like, I want to know more about that, strive after that. Go after learning more, because your brain, if your brain is forever learning, it's forever active. And sometimes we're unmotivated because our brain isn't stimulated, our brain isn't active, right? We're doing mundane things every day, especially if you do a job that's repetitive, that you're doing the same thing over and over and over again. It can make it difficult for you to stay motivated, especially if it's something that you do the same exact thing, repetition, over and over and over again, day in and day out. So if you don't have a way to break that up, if you don't have a way to add curiosity, it could be as simple as adding a new album from a new artist to your playlist for the day, and you just listening to that while you're doing that mundane task. It could be so many different things, simple things that you can do to keep you motivated. But find ways to fill your space, fill your routines, and give yourself reminders that spark the energy and that keep you inspired and that keep you curious. Curiosity is how you learn, right? That's ultimately what pricks your brain to want to learn, right? So finding ways to spark your curiosity daily. And I say that and it may sound weird, but spark your curiosity daily. That's how you'll stay motivated. Okay. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. That was 6 ways for setting your motivating environment. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. The only thing I would say to when it comes to building, I'll go back to building routines. The only thing that I would say with that is to build routines regardless of whether you're working or not. I know sometimes that when we're working, it's easier for us, or we're in school or whatever, it's easier for us to build a routine. But then in those moments where we may have a series of unemployment, or we're out of school for a certain period of time or whatever, all that routine just kind of goes out of the window. Still have a routine for those times that you may feel the most stagnant. And why I say that is because having a routine during those times will keep you motivated during those times. Because a lot of times when you're unemployed, when you're doing a lot, when your mind is idle, it's a lot different. My name is Debbie. Thank you for asking, Tammy. I hope I'm saying that right. But building a routine or having a routine during those times makes it a lot easier for you to navigate those times, because typically those times are difficult. If you were recently laid off, if you were recently fired, if you recently just ended up quitting or had to leave a job, having a routine is critical during that time. And whatever that looks like, make it work for you. It could be you still waking up at a certain time. So if you're used to waking up at 6 a.m. for your job, but you're no longer working, wake up at 8 still. You know what I mean? And have a workout regimen. Maybe go to the gym. You can get up and make sure you make dinner or prepare dinner a little bit earlier in the day. Like, just find things that you can do within your routine to keep you motivated, to keep you inspired. Maybe give yourself time to read a book, or give yourself time to do some research in your industry. Like, plan things out so that way you have a good set of skills that you're working on, even during the time that you are not working or in between classes or whatever. I am in my 30s. We're asking ages. I don't really want to divulge my age, but I'm in my 30s. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. I'll go back through really quickly. Number 1 was know where you spend your time. Number 2 is what you see and what you hear are critical. Number 3, be mindful of what your brain enjoys. Number 4, build routines that are restoring and supportive. Number 5, honor your boundaries and limitations. And then number 6, find ways to consistently stay inspired. I hope that that's helpful, y'all. I'm going to jump into affirmations. Feel free to write these down. Use these however you want to use them. If you want to just journal them, feel free to do that. If it's something that you want to write down and recite, if only one or two stick out to you, only want to write one down, that's fine. If you want to change the language, feel free to change the language so that way it makes sense for you. But whichever, you can use them however you wish to. And I just hope that they're helpful, honestly. But feel free to let me know if there's anything else you would like to add in the comments. Let me get my affirmations here. Okay. Affirmation number 1. I notice and release what drains me, making room for what fuels me. I notice and release what drains me, making room for what fuels me. I notice and release what drains me, making room for what fuels me. The point of us having this awareness, the point of us noticing all of these things about ourselves, whether it be what our brain enjoys, how we're spending our time, it's an opportunity for you to release what isn't serving you. It's an opportunity to have that awareness and to let go of those things so that way you can make room for the things that inspire, that motivate, that are positive, and that cultivate growth. Okay, so I notice and release what drains me, making room for what fuels me. That was number 1. Number 2, every space, habit, and interaction in my life contributes to my progress and success. Every space, habit, and interaction in my life contributes to my progress and success. Every space, habit, and interaction in my life contributes to my progress and success. And it's not just your progress and success in your goals. It's your progress and success in your day. This is how we have progressive and successful days. And the more progressive and successful days we have, the more progress and success we have in our goals. Okay? So taking it one day at a time. Sometimes we overexert ourselves because we're thinking about the week, the month, the year. But if we just take it one day at a time, and make sure to cultivate those spaces and those habits and those interactions to be more motivating and more inspirational, then progress and success will come in those goals. Think about the day. How can I have a successful day today? What do I need? What do I want? What do I desire? What are my passions? What are the things that I'm doing today that I know is going to drain me? What can I do to replace that thing, or what can I do to add to that thing so that way it's more enjoyable and inspirational for me? Okay, so how can I make the good out of something that I just really don't want to do, but know I have to do? Because at the end of the day, there's things in life that we're going to have to do that we're not going to like. Right? So how can I make that better? How can I make it enjoyable? How can I make it, something that I can sustain for a period of time, or for the period of time I need to sustain it? Okay. So that was number 2. Every space, habit, and interaction in my life contributes to my progress and success. Number 3, I cultivate a life that naturally encourages action and growth. I cultivate a life that naturally encourages action and growth. I cultivate a life that naturally encourages action and growth. So just understanding that you want to get to a point where these things happen naturally, right? These things happen at a pace that comes and feels natural to you. It's not going to feel that natural in the beginning. It may be difficult. It may even be draining a little bit to kind of think through everything and figure everything out. But once you do, and you get yourself on a routine and you figure out what works best for you, it will start to naturally happen to the point where you're going to be doing it and not even thinking about it. And then notice that your mental health, or even just your level of motivation, has gone up or is able to be sustained better and for a longer period of time. Okay, so I cultivate a life that naturally encourages action and growth. Number 4, I notice opportunities for inspiration all around me and remain present in its beauty. I notice opportunities for inspiration all around me and remain present in its beauty. I notice opportunities for inspiration all around me and remain present in its beauty. Being present is most important. Remaining present is most important when it comes to being and remaining inspired or living a life that's motivating, right? Noticing those opportunities, either big or small, for inspiration is how you build that natural, sense of I'm cultivating a motivating life, right? Just like we're talking about in number 3, I cultivate a life that naturally encourages action and growth. The way that you do that is noticing the opportunities, for that encouragement, for that inspiration and motivation. Okay. Number 5, I honor my need for serenity, clarity, and intention in my environment. I honor my need for serenity, clarity, and intention in my environment. I honor my need for serenity, clarity, and intention in my environment. So one thing when it comes to motivation or not being motivated is that we are not honoring the things that we truly desire, which is peace, right? Which is clarity, which is intentionality. Okay, so taking the moment to honor those things and to say, this is really what I desire, this is really what I want, and I want to build a life that is able to have that. Just like we talked about last week about values, right? And understanding our values, and within those values, then we'll be able to be easier for us to make decisions, be easier for us to think about what our needs and desires and passions are, and be able to even cultivate a life that we want by just simply confirming what our values are. Within that, once you find that, honor that, right? Honoring what that looks like for you, which is serenity, which is clarity, and which is intention in your environment. Okay, so that was number 5. I honor my need for serenity, clarity, and intention in my environment. And number 6, which is the last affirmation, I create motivation by design. I shape my surroundings, routines, and connections for inspiration. I create motivation by design. I shape my surroundings, routines, and connections for inspiration. One last time. I create motivation by design. I shape my surroundings, routines, and connections for inspiration. Okay? So this is more so of going back to the very, very top of what we said at the top of the live, which is motivation shouldn't just be a fleeting feeling. It shouldn't be just something that I feel here and there. It's something that we cultivate. It's a lifestyle, and we build it into our daily lives. And the more that we build that into our daily lives, we're designing our daily lives in that way to be more motivating, right? So you can shape your surroundings, you can shape your routines, and shape your connections for inspiration instead of just taking what's thrown at us, right? You have the opportunity to say yes, you have the opportunity to say no. You have the opportunity to dwell in a specific space, and you have the opportunity to leave. Okay, those are all your choices, and it's all done by design. Okay, so you have to design your life to be more motivating and inspiring for you specifically. Now, of course, if you are someone that's spiritual, that believes in God, then that's a different conversation when it comes to creating the life that we desire. But when it comes to just in general, finding ways to add motivation within your life is critical to maintaining that motivation, to maintain that feeling, right? We say it's a feeling, but it should be more than that. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. I'll go back to the top for affirmations. Number 1 is I notice and release what drains me, making room for what fuels me. Number 2, every space, habit, and interaction in my life contributes to my progress and success. Number 3, I cultivate a life that naturally encourages action and growth. Number 4, I notice opportunities for inspiration all around me and remain present in its beauty. Number 5, I honor my need for serenity, clarity, and intention in my environment. Number 6, I create motivation by design. I shape my surroundings, routines, and connections for inspiration. I hope this was helpful, y'all. I hope this is brings some quick tips, some things that you may not have thought about when thinking about setting your environment, and even just thinking about it as a thing. You know, maybe we don't even think about it in that way. So I hope this was helpful. Again, if this is your first time, my name is Debbie. I'm a certified mindfulness coach who is also training to be a therapist. I start sitting with clients next month, so I'm excited about that. You will be able to start booking a consultation with me if you would like. This next month, I'm going to take a break from lives, at least for the first 2 weeks, because I want to get settled in the internship and everything. But if you would like to get more information about sitting with me, being one of my first clients, if you desire, I'll share the link on how to do the consultation and how to set things up once it goes live. The only caveat to that is that you would have to be in Illinois, because that's where I'm getting certified. So you would have to be in Illinois for now. And the company that I will be working for, they do primarily focus on Black women as far as clients. But as long as you're in Illinois, you can set up a consultation with me. So I did confirm that with my supervisor. So even if you're not a Black woman, if you're Latina, if you are white, if you are male, it doesn't matter. Asian, whoever wants to, it's perfectly okay. You can set up a consultation with me if you wish to. But yeah, so you will still get meditations and for those weeks. So even though I won't be going live, you still will get several meditations each week. If there's anything that you would like to see as far as meditations, let me know. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, make sure to like the live, make sure to comment, make sure to check out all the meditations. I did post several meditations last week. Make sure to check those out as well. And yeah, I will most likely see y'all, I want to say, hold on, let me double check, because I don't want to say a time and then it not be what it is. As soon as I see my calendar, just a second. I probably will go back live on, let's see, probably the 22nd. Yeah. I most likely will go back live. Earliest would be the 22nd. Probably the latest would be the 29th. So I would say the latest would be the 29th. If that changes, I'll let y'all know, because I'm just thinking my daughter's birthday is that weekend, so I don't know if I am going to be able to even think by the time I get to that Monday, but I will let y'all know. Worst case scenario, we'll start back in October. But until then, I hope and pray all is well with you guys. I hope that you have a great week and a great couple of weeks while I get things together. And then again, check out or look out for the post that will have the link for you to schedule consultations. But y'all have a great rest of your night, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.